Some of this might be genuinely scared. Some of it is don't want to. If she was genuinely scared, she wouldn't have just run over me like that. If she was genuinely scared, she would be going to that side, not this side. When you have a horse that's behaving this way, you have to be able to interpret that correctly, because you're going to handle it a little bit different depending on what it is. She's acting scared, but she really isn't scared. She just don't want to. I had some comments in that first video about her being scared of people. She is not scared of people. She has not been scared from the beginning. She kind of wants things on her own terms, but she's not scared. And I want to take a minute and talk about Rodeo. Rosie is her new name. And I've been turning her out in this pasture every day for the last several days. She stays out here most all day with the 4 horses over here. It's Indy, Zyla, Bug, and Flash, not Bug, Indy, Zyla, Mouse, and Flash, which Indy is the paint and Zyla is the roan. Those are younger mares. The other 2 are older geldings. I wanted her to be out here so that she would have some other horses to interact with, because she's going to have that when she goes home. And I just walked in this gate right here, and she met me at the gate, and she walked up to me. It's really interesting if you look at the first video and how that went on in the stall. And here we are in the pasture. She's coming to me wanting to be caught. The work that I've done with her in these past few weeks has really developed her mind into being a really nice horse. She can be a little bit standoffish once in a while when I first walk out here, but I've been coming out here at least a couple times a day and just rubbing all over. It's probably a 100-yard walk between here and my barn, and this is, I don't know, 4 or 5 acres. Sometimes when I come to catch her, she's out a little ways, and I got to lead her in pretty far to bring her back in the barn, because we've been bringing her in the evening. I haven't left her out here all night. And she has turned into a really, really nice baby. And as you see, she's comfortable being messed with. She's comfortable having hands on. I had some comments in that first video about her being scared of people. She is not scared of people. She has not been scared from the beginning. She kind of wants things on her own terms, but she's not scared. And Mouse, the buckskin over there, has actually tried to become babysitter. He tried to be her babysitter, and she didn't really care if she would buy any of them or not. I've watched them out here, and they'd be grazing in one area of the pasture, and she'd be in another area. She really doesn't care. She's not looking for a buddy, which goes back to talking about what I was saying in the stall and her being so confident. She is a very confident weanling, way more confident than typical, but also I've talked about how that is because of her bloodlines. So I've been turning her out here every day. I did turn, but she comes in at night. I did turn her out in my covered arena for one night, and I saw on the camera that she had cast herself against the wall. I had to go out about midnight and roll her over and uncast her, which she did really well. That video of that is on Patreon. If you'd like to see it, that video is on Patreon of me going in and putting the ropes on her legs and rolling her over. And she handled that really good. She let me do it, stood up, and then looked at me just like she is right here. So I wanted to give you an update on her because she has turned out to be such a nice horse. We're picking her feet up. We haven't done like a full trim, but what we have been doing is picking her feet up and hitting them with a rasp just a couple of times, nipping on them just a couple of times, not really trying to get all of it done at one time, but trying to do a little bit of it regularly so that she gets used to it. So she's really good with all that. And if you have any questions about her and why I handled her the way I did, because it's not like what you see in any videos about how to handle babies. Why I did that, put it in the comments and we'll talk about it. And I'll put a link here to her other playlist on YouTube. Until next time, thank you for watching. Every Thursday at 9 o'clock Central Time, I do a live training video. It's usually roughly an hour long. We post that on YouTube live every Thursday. But after that is over, I'll take the audio from that and upload it to Spotify as a podcast on Spotify. So if you're driving and you want to hear the topic of what we're talking about on that Thursday, and hear the questions, because I take a lot of live questions, live training questions, and talk about those. So if you want to try that on Spotify, that's Tim Anderson Horse Training on Spotify. Most of the more specific training videos that talk about how to use your hands, how to use your legs, that kind of thing, I post on Patreon. If you want to look those up, Tim Anderson Horse Training on Patreon. A lot of those real specific horse training videos are there.